receive. Amen.
Amen. And folks, this morning we are running late, but I see I'm getting some grace here, and I want to thank Alex, I want to thank those listeners. It was one of these mornings when I really don't know what happened. But we are here, God's grace. I want to say to those who are listening, you can find us on YouTube also. If you so desire, you can go and you can see us on YouTube. Now, this morning I want to speak about culture, music, and sex. Now, I want to speak about it because I did this sometime last year, May, June. But that was outside of the season of revelry. And I have been drawn to some pictures I'm seeing on Instagram, Facebook, and something on the very television. And from time to time, you hear people say, in fact, I was at a conference at the University of Southern Caribbean on Thursday. And when you hear people speak, you begin to think that Carnival is seen as a national culture. And the music is seen like our music. And it appears to those who are speaking that we are all in this together, and these are expression of our people. And these things sound nicely, but I want to say for myself, and then I will say why it can't be for others. For myself, soca music, carnival, whining, gyrating, whatever you want to call it, is not a part of my expression. And I feel I can speak for the majority of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And while culture is adaptive, culture is also maladaptive. Not everything in a culture is beautiful. And then we will say, what is culture? Culture is the expressions of a people. It is like my accent. You listen to Alex and listen to Ruskin, these fellows have fantastic voice. I can speak like them. But when we talk, you recognize that we sound the same because you are saying we have an accent that sounds the same. And that is culture. The people are embracing. Culture is the food that we all eat. As we all know about pilau and about kalaloo and about doubles. And that's culture of Trinidad. The way we dress, how we laugh at most things, and how we, in some countries, there are things that we laugh at here. In some countries, we cause rioting in the streets. That's because we have a unique culture, which is our expressions, our behavior, the way we see the world, our worldview of things. That makes up our culture. But so everything that is done in Trinidad is not national culture. There are some things that are subculture. Bobo Shanti, subculture. Hare Krishna, subculture. And then when we come to Carnival, that's a subculture also. Granted, it's a large subculture because maybe a fifth or a quarter of the people, I don't know how many who take part in Carnival. But one thing I do know, not everyone in Trinidad, the majority do not take part in Carnival. In fact, there are some villages on a Carnival morning, you drive through there, nothing happening. If you go through on the Muruga Road, you might see some fellas with some oil drum early in the morning, and then they might have, by the bars, they might be blasting soca music. There's no evidence of Carnival, more than campers who will come to camp down in the area. So I need to say that to make you know that music, and that's what I'm speaking about this morning, culture, music, and sex. And they are all related in the Trinidad context. The culture of casual sex, especially in the Afro population in Trinidad and Tobago, has its relationship, a direct relationship to the music. And some will say, well, not only the Afro, people like to distinguish and say, well, not only the Afro, well, the majority is. And that's when we speak about the issue of culture. The youth population in Trinidad and Tobago is overwhelmed by sex and sexual activity. There is a public spectacle, and we're going to see a little more of it in 2 weeks' time. There's a public spectacle of young women in gay abandon gyrating in highly sexual manner on men and each other, especially where this indigenous music that we call soca or calypso and its various variation, chutney and thing is played. But it's not limited to carnival. If it was only limited to carnival, then I would have said it was an expression of a festival. But no, at all parties, on beaches, on bazaars, everywhere the music is played, that behavior is the same. So then it's not occasion that is creating the phenomena. What is creating the phenomena is the music and not the occasion. If it was just the occasion only on carnival time, they would have been behaving like that. That's not so. And there is a correlation in this behavior. And the issues that surround teenage pregnancy, promiscuity, and when I say promiscuity, is that women who go to parties carrying in their possession condoms. They are not home to meet the husband, the fiancé, or the boyfriend, but they walk with it. One woman said to me, just to be on the ready. And there's something that goes on in these parties, after these parties, that it is mind-boggling for those who know about decency and chastity. The rapid spread of STDs, deviation from the social norms of decent behavior and poverty. This is evident that the participants are more likely to change sexual partners at a faster rate than those who are not within that circle, that carnival circle, that party circle, that fete circle, are more likely to change sexual partners more often than those who are not on the circuit. And while they may not all exhibit all the issues that are relative to the activity, they all exhibit at least two. Interviews of participants at parties, and I want to say this is coming from a study that I did. Interviews of participants at parties where this behavior is prevalent, where the music consists mainly of the many variations of this genre of soca music, can attest to the raw, raunchy, bombastic nature of the music in influencing the negatives that now attend the youth population in Trinidad and Tobago society. Why I'm doing this morning? Because somebody got to wake up and recognize that culture can be maladaptive. Somebody got to wake up and recognize, not because folks are speaking about millions of dollars, and I want to say that has not been quantified. It has not, there has been no research behind it. So when folks say that Carnival is bringing in millions of dollars, there are no evidence of that. That is street talk, and no one can come and say, well, we did a study, and this is the money that comes in. I want you to understand that. What we know is every year, the government will spend on an average 200 million on the thing. That's what we know. The other things, the jury is still out there. This influence is demonstrated in the prevalence of casual sex, especially after these events, and the high turnover of sexual partners, as was demonstrated by one female I spoke to, who was just 21. And she could have remembered, what she could have remembered, that she had 25 different partners, what she could remember. And I thought at the time that this was an outlier. She was just one, but that is not the norm. And friend, I have learned over time that this is very normal among the party-going people, population. The music, both lyrics and melody, serve as a stimuli that unlocks the hindrance that is an integral part of the normative function in the lives of the youth. It unlocks it. It takes them into ecstasy. There seems to be a heightened sexual activity in every age grouping below 40. The resulting is the spread of STDs and unwanted pregnancy. Not only it has brought much disruption, not only has it brought much disruption in the society, but it is creating educational issues in the schools where the behavior takes on the same traits. The behavior cannot be taken in isolation, friend. When large segment of the population indulge in behaviors that are considered unacceptable by the largest section of the society, it should be examined within the context. It is a deviation. It is a subculture. I dare say it's a counterculture. And they're silenced by the majority because the majority are afraid to say what I'm saying. Because if you say that, people say he's knocking the culture, he's a religious prude. What do you think it is? This is our culture. This brings in money. If we don't have this carnival, our people may go crazy. But we know the evidence is not true. For 3 years, we had no carnival. And the only people who went crazy is those who make money on the thing. Hence, Bunji could have speak about wire benders and the Togum lady and the thing making money. Senseless is the analogy, but we accept it. So for one festival a year, this Togum lady will make enough Togum to last the whole year. So if you have no carnival, you're putting on the breadline, you're suffering the wire bender, you're suffering him because there's no carnival, because he usually make enough money at carnival to last for the entire carnival. What nonsense. A study by the Trinidad and Tobago Central Statistical Office has exposed a most troubling trend. This shows that sexual activity is more endemic than is the prevailed thought. And I'm going back far back, when I know it wasn't that bad. So you have an idea of what we are dealing with. In 2001, a girl between the ages of 15 and 19 gave birth to a baby. It was her 6th child. Yeah, that's what the statistic is showing. This was one of the preliminary findings of the Central Statistics Office Population and Vital Statistic Report. More recent figures were not available. Although the 2001 report has not yet been published, even though experts are available in CSO, figures collected show that 2,629 babies born to mothers in the 15 to 19 age group. I know what is culture again? That a young woman will come to the hospital pregnant at the age of 15. The baby will be delivered, and apparently she will go back home with that baby, although it's against the law. That is culture. Nobody cared to report. Nobody cared to know. 2,170 babies were first born during that age, 15 to 19. 404 were second births during that age, 15 to 19. 44 were the mother's third child between that ages 15 to 19. 6 babies were born to mothers who already had 4 children. 1 baby was its mother's 6th child. The CSO also found 25 babies were born to 14-year-old mothers, 4 to 13-year-old girls. 1 baby was born to a mother under the age of 13. An official at the CSO said in some cases, mothers in the 50-90 age group were married most to older men. I'm saying this for us to understand the issue of sex and sexuality in the population. These figures, however, do not include teenagers whose pregnancy ended in stillbirth or abortions. And I have been made to understand the latter is very high. The Children Authority of Trinidad and Tobago had similar results through their observation and study. During the authority's first 9 months of operation, the period May 18, 2016 to February 17, 2016, 4,158 children in need of care, protection, and rehabilitation were brought to the attention of the authority. This statistical report provides an analysis of the cases of sexual abuse to the attention of the authority during the first 9 months of its operation. The period May 18, 2015 to February 17, 2016. And that's what they found. While children of all age groups were victims of sexual abuse, the majority of children involved in sexual abuse cases reported to the authority were between the age of 10 to 15. 23.9% of these children belong to the 10 to 13 group, and 28.9% of the 14 to 15 age group. 18% of the children involved in sexual abuse cases were between the age of 16 to 7. And what we deem sexual abuse, and we are not talking about rape here, we just talking about simply sex by older people, older men. So while they may have willingly done it, but a child does not have the capacity to make some decisions. So we deem it sexual abuse. But what I'm saying, they cannot make good decisions, but because of the whole issue of sexuality that pervades the society, they become so sexualized and so hypersexualized that it is very easy for older men to take advantage. I must say here, these issues are not across all demographics. I want to say this, but a feature of a certain group. And because of time, I cannot go into the nitty-gritty of all aspects of this group, but we'll attempt to make it broad enough to give firm understanding of the issue. The most common aspect of culture known to man, if you are somewhere in Japan and someone says to you, what is the culture of Trinidad and Tobago? The first thing will come to your mind is the music. Although it's a minor culture, subculture, although the vast 1.4 million people we have here, although more than 800 or 900,000 do not take part in the carnival, we will still say it's the culture of Trinidad and Tobago, because that's a misnomer. It is a subculture. Granted, an aggressive one. Granted, a large one, but it remains a subculture of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. But the most common aspect of culture known to man is music. It's a feature of all creation. For us who believe in the Creator, who we call God, has observed with the evolution of societies and man's development, music has been a constant. It's reflecting the rhythm of our heartbeat and the flow of our blood, the sound of our voices to the chirping of birds, the way we walk. It's rhythm, the rhythm are ever present on everything. All emotions are predominantly expressed in a common language called music. And that's why I spoke about culture, music, and sex. There is a link to it, especially in the Trinidad context. Every person in the universe lives due to the almighty creativity, and thereby religions are formed to praise him. The impact of music on religion is boundless. The sociology process, while seconding Batik Sikatan in his book Healing Through Music, says, from ancient time, music is something that has put people in touch with the innermost feelings. Different kind of music work upon different emotions of an individual and reach the various incomplete emotion, leading towards a total healing of body and mind. Stephen Fishbacher writes in his paper, Music and Spirituality, he said, music helps to retrieve memories. When you see an object which you had associated to form a memory, and I want to tell you something, music makes inroads in your mind that stays. Sometimes you are driving down the road and your radio is on and a song comes up. And you have not heard that song for about 25 years, but you know every beat and every word of it because it makes impression in your minds. So it becomes visual. Kurin suggested 3 E words: explore, engage, and express, which connect with music and spirit. Music is played in festival to express worship, and the hearers genuflex to the imagery. But this genuflex is not confined to religion, but to music. In Judaism, music is the pulse of Jewish spirituality. Song charts the biorhythm of the Jewish soul. Chief Rabbi Sir Jonathan Sachs cited in Kurin. In Christianity, music unites people, and everyone recites holy song as being one. Arms are filled, are lifted in praise, and a feeling of upliftment. Some people go into spiritual trance all because of the music. In Islam, it's a harmony of life. It's inspired by the recitation of the Holy Quran and devotional literature. In Sufism, in Islam, in Hinduism, music is considered as a tune and rhythm of the Lord. Music is something that identifies, distinguishes the culture. Music, on one hand, is a union of song and lyrics. On the other hand, it's an approach towards the physical, mental, and social aspect of human behavior, which reflects it throughout the life. And this is the idea, and this is the idea of culture. An everyday, all-inclusive way of life is music. When a piece of music is composed by a human, it somehow or other sways one's behavior, which ultimately gives rise to personality development. There is a correlation between the music you listen to and your behavior. I want to say that again. There is a correlation between the music you listen to and your behavior. That's why sometimes you just walk in. I see people do it before. They just walk in and a car pass, boom, boom, music on the sound system. And for that fleeting second, they whine, they gyrate a bit as the car pass. Because the rhythms are etched into the memory. And as soon as the song is heard, they begin to behave in a certain way. Music is the key to understanding emotions and feelings. And if that is so, this means the type of music you listen will impact your behavior. What that says about the common music in certain communities? What that say? I didn't come here to stand up. I come here to jump up and throw my hand in the air. I came here to hard fit. That is what it's all about. We start understanding the meaning of lyrics when we turn into a teenager, which creates an enormous impact on our future. A study was done related to lyrical music influencing individuals' mood and helping behaviors. People with pro-social lyrics had positive, whereas people with anti-social lyrics had negative behavior. These are research, right? I am not like these conspiracy theories just talking craziness. I'm giving you some research this morning. This is what the data says. What the music of Just Hold Them. A couple years ago when anyway, when they speak about jamming and grinding and pushing and what they're speaking about, well, I want to say it makes impression on the young people. And you see them in the facts. No convincing statistic were found for helping behaviors, but it does not mean that music can't generate willingness to help. If we look towards the physical, mental, and social aspect of a human being throughout his or her journey of existence, for the development and growth, effects of music is very far-reaching. It is not a neutral bystander in the development of personality. Music is not. Music is never. Music cannot be considered as neutral. Music lowers blood pressure and improves heart rate variability to reduce stress, depression, anxiety, muscle tension, pain, sudden infant death. A brief pause between two musical notes stimulates neutral activity, which sharpens cognition and memory. And strong beats bring alertness when these beats synchronize with action potential. It decreases pre-surgery anxiety to the same extent as medication do. Association towards music changes with different stages of life. The most enjoyed music in adulthood improves mood, motivates for socialization, and boosts energy. It has been observed that hearing is the last sense that remains for a few seconds, even when other body parts cease to work. Therefore, music is a beautiful source of rejoice for the chronologically ill or dying patient in their end times. It is also presumed that music runs in families. Most of the time, it is inherited, but it can be learned as well. There are manifold types of music that precipitates behavior. Classical music is the most beneficial in treating patients with variant illness. Someone with a stroke, it has found out. Having listened to classical music at the bedside, it has proven to reverse some sort of illness in stroke patients. Popular music increases motivation and mood. Meditative music is for spiritual upliftment and relaxation. And that's why when Saul was in a state of derision, David came and David played the harp and it calmed the king. Because music has the capacity to do that. Then we speak about hip hop and rap music and dancehall music and soca is less effective than jazz music, which is more pleasing to human senses. I will come back to that in a while because I know some people, or they will say, hey, colonial, what is knocking the culture? As I said to you, culture can be adaptive and also maladaptive. I want you to understand that. Keep that in mind. The brain is structured for detecting harmonious song as pleasing. Your brain is designed for harmony. Hip hop and rap music, dancehall and soca doesn't do that. Doesn't do that. But high sensuality, when driven by lyrics, the behavior becomes a harmonious entity in line with the lyrics. Latin American music heightens positive mood motivation, keeps active, but sometimes gives into sensuality also when the lyrics is added to the high-pitched songs. Folk music add to augment intelligence, protection, and confidence. Sad music is a route of expression in depressed patients. And friend, after the show, put on some sad music and see if after a while you will not become depressed. That's why when many years ago, when Chris Tambo Herbert said, "Not me, it's the music," he was on point. When Barry White said, "There's no better music than love-making music," he was on point. When Third World said, life without music, I can't go on," he's on point again. All those things are realities of life. When Stevie Wonder says music is a world within itself, with a language we all understand, with an equal opportunity for all to sing, dance, and clap their hands. And then he said, music, no, it is and always will be one of the things that life won't quit. That was from Sir Duke. We can feel it all over. And that's it. We can feel it all over. But it's what you choose to listen to will determine your behavior. According to the findings of a wide number of studies, human beings respond to music as a neurological level, to the extent that some medical researchers believe it is capable of eventually helping those who suffer from the effects of a stroke or other condition to recover. However, neuroscientists and psychologists continue to attempt to pinpoint exactly how music affects the brain. In one study, scientists played music for patients who were about to undergo surgery and offered anti-anxiety drugs to others. The latter asked the patient to describe their anxiety levels and learned that those who listened to music were less nervous than those given drugs. I'm trying to show you that these issue with throw up your leg and wind back and wind a bumper and gishi and samshi. I'm trying to show you that you may think it's just culture and it is innocent, but it's destroying the fabric of our young people. That's what I'm putting off this morning. And you could jump all around and say it's with culture as much as you want. We are destroying our people, especially those in the Afro community, because those are the ones who more than all the rest gravitate to this music, gravitate to these commands by these DJs in the Fed. They are the ones who most likely will gravitate. They are the ones who will be walking with condoms in their bags, and they are the ones who will be having sex after the song. They are the ones who are changing partners as if it's underwear. They are the ones. In one study, scientists played music. I said that. No. In one study, scientists played music for patients who. I said that. Proponents of music therapy say that it is easier on the human body than drugs, far less expensive, and causes no negative side effects. There are several thousand music therapists in the United States who use music to help people release long repressed emotions and overcome mental and emotional challenges resulting from injury or emotional trauma. These therapists hold degrees in their field along with board certification. U.S. Congresswoman Gabrielle Gifford experienced music therapy in recovery from a brain injury when she was shot. Music brought her back to the Congress. What I'm saying this morning, friend, is that if you are a listener or a lover of music, please note that it is not neutral or only recreative, but it's transforming you one way or the other into the tenets of the music itself. That's what you are transforming. The rudeness of the music is what is transforming you. There is a correlation of behavior of the ghetto and the music in the ghetto. I know what I'm saying there is dangerous. Focus will say, oh, this man, where we get this Uncle Tom from? You can say that if you want. What I'm saying has been driven by research. I hope you understand what I'm saying. What I'm saying have been driven by research, not my own feelings. You see, the brain is designed for coordination of different things. The frontal lobe of the brain deals with concentration, abstract thought, memory, ability to express thoughts, some control over breathing, breathing, stomach and intestinal activity. The parietal lobe deal with touch, sensation, pressure, shape, size, weight, texture, awareness of space and relationship of self to surrounding. The occipital lobe deal with vision and seeing, recognizing, identifying objects. The temporal lobe, hearing and understanding speech, memory, past experiences, artwork, and music. The cerebellum is a coordinate muscle activities, balance, and muscle tone. This is what the brain does. It is sectioned off, and only one thing it deals with at a time. Music is a human phenomenon. It's the only sensory experience that can activate all areas of the brain at the same time or simultaneously. So when you begin hearing music, especially if it's not harmonious music, the whole brain, all the brain waves turn into a whole mass like a blob. And that's why they will say to you, there is nothing like multitasking. What you really be doing is a whole lot of different things at a sub level. When we discuss brain plasticity theory, it takes extensive hard work to stimulate and build these pathways, because the brain was made to function in parts at a time. The brain was not made to function, but music tears the whole thing together, make all the parts mix up. And that's why when that drum of sexuality comes to you and you are alone or you are leaving and added with a couple of drinks, it is easy. And that's why they walk with condoms, because as the young lady said, just to be ready. Ready for what? Music therapy is useful because music triggers whole brain processes. That's why they give it therapy, because it does that too. Functioning which directly affect one's cognitive, emotional, and physical function abilities. With the newest understanding of neuroplasticity, Mother's music therapy has become a core strategy used in reading, rehabilitation, education, and wellness programs. After discordant sound traveled across the different lobes of the brain and disturbed the equilibrium, it makes memory in the pleasure centers. That is the ever ready to respond to like stimuli. As the brain settles into a norm, the experience linger. In my study, I had a focus group. I state soca influences you to dance on somebody. And it allows self-expression and socialization. These are the things that came out of the group. It followed this. It has a groovy, nostalgic feel and reminds you of a good time. It makes you happy and bring togetherness in a party. That's what they were saying. Only a true Trini will understand this. That's what they say. Accept that Trinidad has a culture of sexual freedom, and soca music, part of our culture, has a major role in fostering the society's sexual freedom. What influence soca have ever focused? What influence does soca have? %50 of the respondents in the focus groups said it gave a weakening influence to sexual behavior. 63.9% admit that soca has a fairly strong influence to their close friends, because they don't talk about themselves, close friends' sexual behavior. The precarious position of participants in defense of soca was very obvious as they strive to support their culture and simultaneously attain objectivity in whether soca perpetuates pervasive sexuality in society. In the end, focus group discussion showed that soca promotes a culture of sexual freedom, which exerts influence over the sexual behavior of soca agents through their wild abandonment and sexual stimulation that drive listeners of soca music towards sexual activity. It does, friends. Music controls us. From the social and cultural perspective, music permeates our society, and culture is making it familiar and easily accessible to us. So we cannot tone it down. If pastors and right-thinking people decide to speak against it, we cannot tone it down, because they will say, hey, they are speaking against the culture. What do you think it is? They're against the culture. And some clown will say, but they were young too, and things like that is said. So it cannot be toned down because it's accepted as culture, although it's a minority culture. Although it's not something that the entire society partakes. It's not. It's not what half of the society partakes. It's not. It's not what 2/3 of the society partakes. It's not. We did a study many years ago. Me and 3 young ladies from UWI, we did a study. And the study was, we got into Port of Spain, Cipriani, on the Cipriani statue. 4 days. Over 30,000 people passed through Port of Spain on a daily basis. What we came out with at the end of that study is that carnival and calypso and soca and pan is not culture, but a minority culture. When the question was asked about how many of you ever played a pan or know how to play a pan, it was down to about 4%. After 4 days in the city, after almost 30,000 people passed through the city a day, that's what we found. We found that even the year before, what was the road march? Only about 10 people knew, remembered. When we asked, can you recite that thing? Can you recite one bar of a soca song? Nobody could. When we say nobody could, the number is so minuscule. You can say nobody could. When we asked, how many of you ever played mass? It was just hovering over 10%. But when we asked, how many of you have bought a roti or pera or kararoo, it was already 90%. Some of them was 100%. That's culture. That's culture. How many of you will consider yourself someone who have a sense of humor and way in the 80s again? That's culture. That's what the people, those are expressions of the people. Music controls us. This makes treatment a more personal and individual experience. This approach reflects a person's preferences, which is more normalizing and effective than a traditionally more sterile or generic procedure. This also contributes to making music therapy-based treatment often faster and more effective than treatment without music. Additionally, let's look at that. Whether music leads the body tends to follow. So if the music we are talking about, lyrics and sensuality of the song is overly sexual, so leads the body. The more raunchy and raw the music, the behavioral display will follow. When the youngsters are told in the party by the DJs, throw up your leg, they do it. Jam on shibumpa, they do it. Wind back, they do it. Whine like a dog, they do it. The music sway and the command is easily obeyed. At this time, I would just ask Eric to open the line if there's anybody want to before I continue.
Okay, certainly. Phone lines are open right now, and we're going till 10:15. 622-4911. You can chat with Pastor Brown. It's Victorious Lifestyle here on Talk City. Go ahead, Pastor.
Thank you. The music that now passed as culture, notably soca. I know they say I'm trying to kill soca this morning. No, I've seen the damage, the dangers, and as they become more raunchy and more rude and more raw, I know the damage will become more. The music that now passed as culture, notably soca music, has demonstrated in parties, street engagement, and wherever it is played, there is a behavior that accompanies it, where women especially lost into action of sexual orgies that support the position. Street orgies I'm talking about. As part of Trinidad and Tobago culture, soca perpetuate pervasive sexuality in the society.
A couple calls coming in here, Pastor.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning. Good morning, caller.
Blessed morning to you, Mr. Rusty Mark, and to the pastor. Well done, sir. You know, you cut down lateral and you purify really decent to the young citizen of this land. You see what you're saying there? The spinal cord, when that bursts in you, you're dead. So when you're making music, the spinal cord sends all the messages to the brain. When the eye sees something, it goes to the spinal cord and then it goes to the brain and make you activated on what condition. You see, they say, go sin. Go play carnival Monday and Tuesday. You're pregnant. And then you come and you ask forgiveness. Come to Ash Wednesday and take Ash. You see, so sometimes you just have to use a word, but you just can't say it on the radio station. I wish I could meet you in person. You see, forget Jesus Christ and bring people like you all. This is your time. Jesus Christ make his era, and now is our era to come and teach one another. Keep his message. Jesus Christ keep message, and but you did a very, very good job this morning. Go and sin, and then come for Ash and Ash Wednesday. You have a blessed and wonderful day. And
You too, my brother.
Please listen to this guy.
You too, my brother. Thank you. That's it.
We do have another call coming in here.
Thank you.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning. It's Alex.
Yes, it is, yes.
Yes, have a beautiful day, Pastor Brown.
Thank you. Good morning, sir.
The question will be asked is if you are Trinidadian.
I am born and bred.
You see, when you say you're a Trinidadian, the first thing people are asking you about Marshall Montano and Carnival.
Yes.
You
Yes.
understand? So when the woman at the well saw Jesus and said, "How come you not Jew and asking me for water?"
Mm-hmm.
Eh?
Yeah.
So you ask yourself, what kind of Jew he is? What kind of Trinidadian he is?
Mm-hmm.
You understand? I listening to the music and I wonder if the leaders of these various Christian institutions they listen to the music. They said no, that level music, but the messages are there since it's a popular form or as you see a subculture, and they're trying to make it look like it is the culture.
That is what they are trying to do.
That the children is exposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
And you playing thing and not listening, the man saying, hear what the man saying, like yourself. And hear how you will like yourself. I and you go in the party, you wind up on whoever man, real man, jam up on you and all these kind of thing. And
Mm-hmm.
after the party done, we go meet back. What kind of thing that is?
Yeah.
What are we doing? You understand? And I see,
Where are we going? Not only what are we doing, where are we going?
and the thing about it is, if you really watch it, they say Carnival come out of slavery here, right?
Mm-hmm.
They go to the Roman thing, they say it's out of slavery, mocking the master. So
Yes,
the people that is mostly influenced is the people of the slaves.
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say all
But
morning.
you have this group of people continuing who don't have, continuing to support and to think all kind of things. You want to quarrel with the prime minister for not giving you what you call it again, paying your back pay. And you ain't have no money, but you're finding all this money to support this thing apart from what the government giving. All the parties and things. When you look at the crowd, who is the principal supporters of this thing, and now who have the most neglected children in the country because of the same poverty?
Mm-hmm.
Pastor, this is a thing that we're supposed to be talking about instead of going carnival camping. We're supposed to be letting the government know there's better ways of making money than gambling and all this promiscuity. And then on top of that now, you telling me wiping down car windshield is a business. I don't know where we're going again. And then the next one tell me I want educated blood. He want educated blood. We have to stand and let people know what we believe because we have the final message for a dying world. Enjoy your day.
It's a travesty to say that we are free. So this shows that a part of freedom. This is a part of enslavement. They are enslaved to this culture that is decadent, that is destroying their homes and their family. This is not freedom in any way. This decadent behavior is not freedom. And it's sad that we have leaders in the Afro community are guiding our people more and more into these activities and saying to them, it's bringing in money. Even if it's bringing in money, for who? For who? Even if, let's say they are speaking the truth, or do we all who want to the stupidness that Bunji was talking about the woman who's selling the film and the woman who's selling the bake? Are we buying into that nonsense that it gives them employment? Are we buying that nonsense that for 2 weeks they give them employment and they can mind their children and send their children to school and shop and pay the mortgage or the rent for the entire year? Are we? Friend, this must be attended. If we are to arrest the prevalence of sexual immorality in the society, this subculture of profanity and vulgarity and its weight its weight is felt mainly on one demography, as the two callers said before, of the society, as the rum song also about why beating is felt in another demography of the society, but there is no benefits for the society from this. And all these fellows who say benefit, we had COVID has given us a chance to evaluate, and for 3 years we did not have the thing, and nobody went crazy. The society did not collapse. Nobody died from starvation. The only people who cried out and cried out and cried out about it is those who were making the money from it. But our culture that is driven by this music has created this promiscuity that is destroying our young people. Girls go to Fed and they boast. They go to Fed to have a fling, they say. What is a fling? To meet a guy for the first time and have sex with. And they will speak about it. That I had about 4 flings. They speak about it like that. This is what we are facing as a people. This is where we have been misled as a people. This is where our leaders have abandoned us to our own will and fancy. This is where a small group who are making a lot of money keep promoting it as culture. You see, once they promote it as culture, then the government money will not complain about it. And then the vulgarity will look the other way from it because it's been promoted as culture. I want to say thanks all those. I want to thank Alex, especially this morning. I want to thank all those who have been listening this morning. And if you want to contribute to this program, friend, this program, I want to thank 4 persons, especially while we're on the air again this morning. I want to thank my sister, Lynette out there in Philadelphia. I want to thank brother and sister Hines, sister Rihanna, the Gospel Church. I want to thank, there are some few people I may not remember now who have caused us to still here. Dr. Philip, I want to thank you tremendously. But folks, for this program to continue, I need your support. And if you'd like to give to the program, 2 numbers I'm going to give you. First Citizen Bank, TT Limited, number 1450203, or RBC, number 100-791-703-24555. And if you want to hear this program again, you can go to the YouTube channel, put in Victorious Lifestyle, and you can listen to us again. Until next week, may God bless you richly. Alex, again, I want to say thank you, and may God bless and be upon you and your family.
Thank you so much, Pastor. Appreciate it, and wishing you blessings and have yourself a safe day. And of course, you can listen out for Victorious Lifestyle 9 to 10 a.m. every Sunday right here on Talk City.